Hello, BIBM 693 class. We are the Family Integrated Ministry Group. Manuel Gonzalez, Jonathan Williams, and Henry Roncancio. The Family Integrated Church movement is easily distinguishable in its insistence on integration as an ecclesiological principle. Family Integrated churches have no youth ministers, children's ministers, or nursery. They do not separate the mature adults from the young teenagers and children who need their guidance. Families are not separated during the worship assembly or Bible study. Family Integrated churches see the church as a family of families. Family Integrated ministries are built on the belief that parents, and particularly fathers, should be the primary disciple makers in their children's lives. The typical calendar in a Family Integrated church is fairly simple and anchored in 3 events: the weekly Sunday worship and fellowship meal, weekly small group meetings in homes, and a monthly men's gathering to train men to be spiritual leaders. Family Integrated churches are committed to all-inclusive age-integrated ministry, to evangelism and discipleship in and through the home, and to calling church leaders who meet the biblical qualification of managing their home in a godly way. In a typical Sunday morning worship assembly, families sit together as families during the assembly. If a child acts up, parents are welcome to take the child out to correct and discipline. Parents model worshiping for their children during the assembly. Family members are able to discuss their shared experience later. Principles are taught using catechisms. There is congregational singing and expository preaching. Fathers lead their families in the Lord's Supper during the assembly. Tithes and offerings are given, and the elders pray. The assembly typically is followed by a congregational fellowship meal prepared by everyone. Members meet in homes during the week to provide further instruction, fellowship, and to study specific topics. Again, families remain together during group gatherings, and fathers have the opportunity to develop and exercise their leadership abilities. During the monthly men's training, elders provide men, particularly fathers, instruction to develop them as household and congregational leaders. The meetings include a question and answer period, worship, testimonies, encouragement, prayer, and men are also assigned books to read on their own to feed themselves and develop further. The Family Integrated Church does not view the teenage years as an artificial period of immaturity between childhood and adulthood. In his book, The Myth of Adolescence, David Black writes, "According to the Bible, the teen era is not a timeout between childhood and adulthood. It is not primarily a time of horseplay, of parties, of games, of sports. The Bible treats teens as responsible young adults, and so should we." Because the myth of adolescence is discouraged in Family Integrated churches, manhood ceremonies are held for every young man on his 12th birthday. The teen years are intended to be productive years of learning to be a man, and because of that, young men also start attending the monthly men's meeting at age 12. While some find many advantages in the Family Integrated model, critics of the model critique what they believe to be its weaknesses. We'll look at responses from Brandon Shields, Jay STROTHER, and Kevin Jones. Brandon Shields takes issue with the Family Integrated model's description of the church as a family of families. He believes that describing the church as the family of God is a much more accurate description that is given in the scriptures. He also believes the Family Integrated model loses the emphasis on reaching the lost and replaces it with an emphasis on training family members. He believes the Great Commission cannot be carried out when churches believe that the nuclear family is the primary mechanism for that mission. Shields also points out that the Family Integrated Church has a tendency to attract nearly exclusively intact, homeschooling Christian families. Such families gravitate toward Family Integrated churches because, in part, there is simply the sociological reality that people tend to feel more comfortable with people like themselves. Considering a 2017 statistic showing that over 56 million students were enrolled in public and private schools, while 2.3 million students were homeschooled, the Family Integrated model effectively targets less than 5% of the population of families with school-aged children. Proponents of family integrated ministry argue passionately against any systemic age segregation. Yet, at several points throughout chapter 6, Paul Renfro presented examples that were implicitly inconsistent with this perspective, such as when he mentioned how the men of the church witness in the streets of Houston. Shields believes it is virtually impossible to engage in targeted learning without some form of age-organized instruction. J. Strother disagrees with the assumptions that the great majority of time in age-organized ministries is focused on administrative tasks, perpetuates immaturity in teens, and causes a disconnection between parents and children. Strother asks these questions about the family integrated model. Renfro offers these 10 principles to transition to family integrated ministry. Lay a biblical foundation. Church's leadership should model family discipleship. Equip heads of households. Encourage people to evaluate family priorities. Begin having children and adults worship together. Reduce age-segregated events. Transition small groups to age-integrated groups. Transition Sunday school to age integration. Transition ministries toward age integration. Transition mission efforts towards age integration. Kevin Jones was born in an age-organized, predominantly African-American church, and he argues that each church is different from one another, with its own mission, vision, calling, and geographic space. Jones asks these questions while offering his perspective that some go through the struggles that he has with the family integrated model. Here are some questions to consider regarding this week's material. Why would you prefer or not prefer to be a member of a family integrated church? What is one of the strongest benefits of the family integrated model? What is one of the weakest arguments of the family integrated model?